Alright, hey guys, what is going on? It is Ed again, and I am finally able to make that deck profile video that I've been talking about. So, we're going to go over the ride line, and then we're going to work our way down from grade 3, working all our way down to grade 0's triggers. So first we're going to go over the ride line. First, that's out of order. We start with Loronerol. It's going to be the standard Loronerol ride line. So you're just going to get the grade 0 Loronerol, and then grade 1 Loronerol, grade 2, and then get the music started with the grade 3 Loronerol. So once again, like I said, I'm not going to focus too hard on this, but it is just the standard Loronerol ride line. And so now we go to the main deck. We'll put these over here. So in addition to the one in the ride deck, of course, we will run 3 Loronerol grade 3s to try to get those Persona rides so that we can try to close out the game as fast as possible. And then the only remaining grade 3s I carry in this deck is 4 copies actually of 6 Flower Fractals, so we can restand our rear guards and give Loronerol the boost she needs to try to overcome the enemy defenses, because they're bound to put down a lot of cards because she will be swinging with the extra crit. Hopefully the Persona ride and a Luisa booster, so since she's Sentinel restricted, they're going to put down a lot of numbers to try to guard that attack. Sliding down into the grade 2s, this is going to be a weird choice, but like I said, my deck is a little off because this is something I made myself. We're going to go with 3 copies of Echoa. Echoa is our draw engine. The reason I brought her down to 3 is the same reason why I have Elmer down to 3, which I will pull out right now. It was to make room for Esmeralda. So let me just put the glue girl right down there. And then, you know, this Elmer helps you in the late game because her shields become massive the more orders you put out. And then, what do you call it? But don't be afraid to use her as ride fodder. Now, here's a weird tech I have. I have a 2 tech of Aubrey because this is based off of the Bro winner who did, well, he wasn't the winner, but he got 4th place, but he's a winner in my heart. The Bro 4th place Loronerol deck. This 2 of is just to give us early game pressure because you could play her grade 2. So not only will Loronerol be herself as a Vanguard be a 15k unit, you can have 2 13s on the board as well to try to force them so you can make them feel more pressure when you start singing your songs once you hit the grade 3 turn. And speaking of choices, I chose to run 4 Esmeraldas because of all the cards in the set, I really like this because if turns are going the way they're supposed to, you're gonna always sing Matter Red Runway, which turns her into an 18k beat stick, and that's without boosters. So I typically love it. So typically I would like to have my turns be like Esmeralda on one side of the rear guard and Echo with the other, so I can still get my draw potential off, but I still have a good beater that is both 15 and 18 on the board. And then I actually run 2 of the crit song. I cannot arguably run the summer song because 5k to the front row, I have cards that do that on their own, so I figure it's not worth an order slot. The reason I run 2 instead of 1 is for 2 separate reasons. 1, if I damage one of these out, I'm basically dead. It's really hard for Loronerol to come back if she damages out her key pieces. And second, if you go second and you still do not have your 6 Flower Fractal, but you have one of these in hand, personally what I like to do is still search this out so you thin your deck. It gets placed in the order zone, thus you get to be able to draw the card since your opponent should be at grade 3. And then you could play it from hand as your order from this turn to draw another card. And then when the time comes and you start singing your songs, Loronerol sings the grade 1 song, she gets to draw yet a 3rd card. So that is 4 cards out of your deck. That may sound like it might not be value, but if the worst case scenario, you brick on getting 6 flower fractal, but you still have guards you can use to guard your Vanguard with. Next is 2 of Ludmilla. So the reason I only have 2 of her is because I both have her and Luisa at 2, so that I could make room. So essentially the way the breakdown goes, -1 Akoa, -1 Elmer, -1 Luisa, and -1 Ludmilla to get those 4 slots for Esmeralda in there. Speak of the devil, there's our 2 Luisas. I feel that, and what do you call it? Typically, I like to have her as an early game booster, because once we start seeing songs early, we can get all these effects off faster. But Luisa is still your go-to for a booster, because her becoming an 11k booster, and you get the counter charge, so you have resources for next turn. I just prefer that. Alright, and then this one's and the next bits of here are technically up to your own. There's the 4 PGs. I believe that's still in frame. So I might swap them out for just so I have a variety of PGs, since that's what Lyrical has. But those are the 2 I have in there right now. And finally, I'll put this one up here. The grade 1 song, gives our Vanguard 5k, and we get the boost, not the boost, draw. Sorry, just woke up from a nap. So and then now we're going down to the trigger breakdown. So I run rainbows, but specifically I run 4 effects because of the shield value, and if Loronerol gets a front trigger, it helps build pressure, because not only is she game boosted, everyone's game boosted, because you should have your entire front row restanding by the end of your turn, or her attack. Then we go down to 4 criticals. Crits help that get spicy, especially if you whiff. If you draw at least 1 crit, you can give that to somebody else, and you're still trying to hit for 2 damage. And then 3 effect draws. Once again, shield. Yeah, that's what we're looking for here. And then similar situation to the Perfect Guards. 4 of the heals. That's a staple in every deck. We should know that by now. And I might swap them out so that they're different heals, so that I have some variety in my deck. And last but not least, to keep the theming going, we are using the Cat Girl over trigger. So this is basically the whole deck list. So personally, like I said before, you almost always want to have Lewis in the back center. But if you want your two grade 2s on the board, if you're already at grade 2 and you have at least 1 Aubrey, I recommend playing her to help try to get extra damage off on the field. And then and then grade 2 Akoa, grade 2 Esmeralda. I know I did that in backwards order, but typically, like I said, on one side of the Vanguard have Akoa, so you get your draws, and on the other side you get your beat stick. Yes, they could both be blocked with 1 trigger or Perfect Guard if they are really trying to hang on. But like I said, I feel like these numbers are easier to work with. Especially, like I said, if you get the fronts. So that's 28 and 25. So they're definitely going to have to try to block it and use up all their hand. And that will set you up for next turn, especially if you have 6 flower fractal. Which, if it comes to past, because in the past locals, I actually had to throw down my triggers so that I could give Loronerol an extra 40k on top of her persona, on top of the 11k booster. Because typically for me, the reason we run this at 4 is because we need to see it a lot. But if you cannot push past the second 6 flower fractal turn, that's where Loronerol kind of sputters out. Loronerol sputters out a lot anyway, because essentially this is such a key card. If you don't get it, it's just not going to work. Also, sorry if I sound nasally. It's just I'm getting sick, but it's just a small summer flu. but I will be fine. So I'm curious on what you guys would change in this deck. I want to see what you guys have built for yourselves. So make sure you comment below, like this video, and subscribe. And I will actually be, after this is done recording, be working on my actual competitive deck to profile that I use for my Gravidia the World build. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you guys later.